Welcome back to the Pixelwood Experience. Last week, we reimagined Oppenheimer in a ducky alternative universe. Due to popular demand, you guys asked me to create a reimagination of this. Oh boy. Now let's break down the poster composition. So right off the bat, we have two main focals, which is these two. We have a very minimalistic approach, so there is a lot of negative space in here. There are some clouds that kind of shift your focus to the center, and we have a text. And finally, we have the car at the bottom. And just to get this out of my chest, I'm not used to this color palette, and most of my art revolves around like darker tones and monsters. So actually making this is very hard for me, and creating something cute is way out of my comfort zone. And that's why I'm doing this challenge, because my focus is to get better at pixel art and have fun with it. So starting off, I wanted to keep the elements from my universe kind of intact. So I added a duck and an octopus in the front of the car. And keeping with the elements of how the poster looks, I wanted the colors to match. So that's why I used the like different gradients of pink. So next I'm working on the main character, and Margot Robbie has like a very different pose in this one, which is like she's extending her arm forward. And I wanted to get that element into the picture. Doing that with pixel art is already challenging because you're trying to get human anatomy, but I wanted to keep that kind of soul of the poster so we don't kind of deviate too much from what it's trying to convey. So starting off, just making sure I get my proportions correctly. And that's why I don't start with adding a lot of details. I'm just like making sure that I have the hair, the eyes, and the mouth, and also like the position of the arm. So when we try and transition to adding details, all the hard work is already lifted. Now we can have fun adding the details. So now you get to see like I'm trying to play around with the shadow values. So adding those in really kind of, it's almost like a little hack where adding the shadows kind of shows you like a little bit of depth, and it gives it the illusion that there is a lot of detail there. And another hack when you're working with skins, one thing is like you're trying to stay away from the Photoshoppy feel that everything is so perfect and perfectly smooth. So when you add like freckles, it gives it a little bit more depth and a little bit of realism to your art. So next I'm working on the blouse, and now I'm adding a little bit of different shade and gradient of pink. And finally I'm just resculpting the head a little bit more, adding a little bit of highlight, and that will pretty much be it for that character. Next I wanted to add a little bit more detail to the octopus because it's supposed to shift your eye from the left of the poster back to the main focal, which is Margot Robbie. And now I'm just adding more details and refining some of those elements. And finally, I'm working on Ryan Gosling, and one thing I had in mind for this poster was they have a saying on the poster that she's everything and he's just Ken, so I wanted to play with the words where she's a duck and he's just an octopus kind of thing. So now he's just sitting in the back chilling in the car and making sure that I have the same tones. Because the duck has like a white feathers, I wanted to keep the octopus have the same color tone. So that way your eye kind of feels rested and doesn't get strained by so many different colors. And just keeping the design very simple, so I just put a very simple octopus and a very simple yellow outline to just separate the background from the foreground. And next we're working on the clouds, and this will be almost the final step to get the composition tied together. And just with all of our paintings, the clouds really help put everything together and help shift your eyes from the sides of the frame all the way to the center. And you get to see there are some intentional lines in there to give Margot a little bit more attention. And finally we decided to add another tentacle just to fill in that negative space to help the overall composition. And now we're working on Photoshop. Photoshop is just doing a final color correction and wanted to go ahead and add the text. So I was in a big dilemma if I wanted to add it all like pixelated just like the other two posters, or I just wanted to keep the element of Barbie because Barbie has this very playful typography. So I wanted to see if I can get something similar using pixel art. Then I think it looks okay. So next I just wanted to add the octo in the front. And now adding the pink background to it, and I think it's ready to go. So I hope you liked this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you have any suggestions for our next poster, please let me know in the comments below or tweet me out on any social media. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and a comment. It'll help me grow and help me with the algorithm. And if you enjoyed this one, you might enjoy this one as well, where I took Oppenheimer and changed it into a completely ducky universe. And remember, just take it one day at a time, and I'll see you in the next video.